Welcome back, CCL fans, to the CCL playoffs. We're heading into winners round 2, and we're taking a look at FGCU versus LSU, Florida Gulf Coast versus Louisiana State University. Jesse, this is going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one, actually. I mean, one team from Division 1, one team from Division 2, but the similarities between the two, very close ranked inside of our top 25 for college COD. LSU coming in at number 21. Florida Gulf Coast University, the Div 2 team, coming in at number 17.
I mean, let's talk a little bit of FGCU too, because this is a team that dominated D2 and barely missed out on D1. A lot of people had them in the top 25 too, so FGCU, I'm sure they're ready for revenge against that. But before we dive deep into FGCU, we got to talk about Louisiana State University. Let's take a look at this roster and talk a little bit about this team, because you and I mean, this team has flown a little under the radar, I'd say, for the both of us. But even still, they've had a fantastic start to the year throughout Division 1. We got Petrov, Pavi, Dwarflin, and Ronan looking to start this roster.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to watch this team at all yet this season, right? But we've gotten to see a ton of what they can do in terms of just the teams that they've gone up against. Like, we saw them play up against the likes of Mars Hill, UONA. They've played very competitive against those teams. Yes, 3-0s, but they were able to keep it close, able to keep it competitive. And I think that's really kind of like your benchmark when you're looking at a team like Louisiana State University. But yeah, I mean, a very good team nonetheless. You've got Petrov on the AR, Dwarfin and Ronan both on the SMGs, and then Pavi running the flex here for them. Louisiana State University, we'll see what they can do here today.
Yeah, I mean, that was two. I mean, Mars Hill and University of North America, that was your first and fourth match of the year. So there's been time to grow for LSU, and we're going to be looking to see if postseason is where they look to push to new heights. But let's take a look at their opponents. FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast University. I mean, I'm sure this team was frustrated that they didn't make D1 when they definitely knew that they could. They moved down to Div 2. They dominate the scene. They're one of 2 Division 2 teams that made top 25, Jesse. And now looking to go up against LSU, a Div 1 team. This is really where FGCU start to showcase the CCL why they should have been a Div 1 team.
Yeah, and Colin, I'm really glad that we actually get a chance to do this FGCU match as well, because we got to do some FGCU throughout the regular season this year a couple times. We've actually had I believe 2 of their matches on stream with us throughout the season this year. And both times that we kind of had an opportunity to talk to Kirchi before the matches and kind of see what was going on, both times Kirchi basically said, hey, our only goal right now, we should be a Div 1 team. Our only goal in Div 2 is to come in and 3-0 every single matchup. Well, guess what? They have absolutely walked away with that. They have not lost a map inside of Div 2 this season. They are looking like a very tough force to be reckoned with come playoff time. This team reminds me a lot, Colin, of the St. Clair Saints from last year, a team that flew under the radar, was in Div 2, kind of breaking into that top 25, but they went on a run. They made it all the way to land last year. Can FGCU replicate that process and find a way to land this year as well? That's going to be the big question.
Well, we got Kirchi, Wheels, Beeser, Justin. No seniors on this team, so still time to grow for these players. Let's look at the head-to-head, Jesse, between these two teams, because, I mean, like you said, LSU Div 1 team, FGCU Div 2 team. It's something to note, just like our match 1 of the day, is you don't want to take these records too seriously between the two because of the level of play that FGCU had in comparison to LSU. Not, to say that FGCU, they did not deserve that 12-0 run. They dominated, didn't drop a single map, Jesse, but looking at Louisiana State University, the fact that just like University of Central Florida, they had those reps against Div 1 teams, you need to take that into account.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we're looking overall already, both teams have had a playoff matchup, or sorry, no, FGCU has had a playoff matchup. They had a playoff round 1 matchup against UNA Esports. They were able to walk away with the victory there. Now going up against LSU, who are in their first playoff match here of the day. We can take a look at our maps and modes, though, Colin, as well. We head to Fortress for map number 1 again. It's going to be a little bit of a scrappy map there. LSU for maps 2 and 3. Then we got Embassy map 4, Hotel map 5. And honestly, Colin, I think we could end up seeing the full 5 between these two teams. They're so close ranked.
100%. I think that LSU control is going to be a crazy swing map mode, considering it's both teams' best control map. So LSU locked in for that map number 3. Louisiana State University 3-2 on that map, whereas Florida Gulf Coast are 4-0. So is exactly where these two teams want to be. Fortress Hardpoint, though, to start things off. Louisiana State University 1-2, Florida Gulf Coast 2-0. So interesting stats to be looking at from both of these two teams. We're going to Fortress for that map number 1. This could be where Florida Gulf Coast really start to, pull a fast one from Louisiana State University and start off strong with a hardpoint win.
Yeah, the thing that really worries me for LSU is seeing that double LSU, though, right? I mean, the fact that you're 4-0 on both Search and Destroy and Control as Florida Gulf Coast University on that map mode combination, it almost feels like this map 1 might just be a must-win here for LSU. But again, Florida Gulf Coast have not lost a map yet, so this is another map where they are also undefeated on, is this Fortress Hardpoint. We'll just have to see what LSU can bring to the table here inside of this map, what Florida Gulf Coast can really do in their first big test of the year here against a Div 1 team again here.
Yeah, and, our big hitters from our match 1 today, Jesse, were the submachine gun players. We're going to be taking a look at Dwarfin and Ronan for Louisiana State University, whereas for Florida Gulf Coast, you got to keep your eyes on Justin and Wheels. Let's see how that sub matchup goes for Fortress Hardpoint. Already some good times for FGCU, but you look at Ronan's going to win the 1 versus Wheels, start to head into ammunition, and look to see if you can flip things out. Unfortunately, Ronan not going to get farther than that ammunition hill.
Yeah, this whole map is just going to be a bang-up between these two teams. Both these teams very talented. You can see already right off the rip, a very scrappy P1. Kirchi will lock down a little bit of this remainder of the time here. Pavi will come through, make that final challenge. But when you look across the map and we're looking over towards P2, we're going to have an early setup here for Florida Gulf Coast University. It's going to be a tough break here for LSU, but they're going to try to work around the back.
Justin, nice shots there on a Petrov. Going to be instantly traded. Beaster going to lock down some more time in the hill, but he has some players oncoming. It's Ronan around the back, and Pavi through the side door. A break quickly for LSU, and Ronan's going to solidify those back spawns. So 3 players now locked in for LSU for this hill too. You do have to worry about Wheels around the back, looking to get some eyes on, but luckily for the rest of LSU, Pavi comes to the rescue and clears off your backside.
Love that push from LSU there inside of that round. They were in a situation where they could have been getting into a spot where things could have gotten a little bit scary, but instead, no, they just kind of, take a deep breath. Everybody push back, and they go for the full wrap through P1 over through to P2, and they get the full setup that they want. They get the break, and now also with holding onto those spawns from the top side, now they look to rotate over here into our Fountain Hill. This could be a really good setup here as well, as they've got 3 players in and around the hill. You've got player 3 set up middle of the map to chop down the reinforcements as soon as Florida Gulf Coast tries to get them going.
He's going to be watching the middle of the map. Big kill there on the Wheels. Almost gets a second onto Justin, but up close and personal, evasive. It is pretty good, Jesse, but now it's the hard part for FGCU, breaking in through these gates. Petrov going to be watching to the front line, but just like that, 3 down for LSU. A quick break for Florida Gulf Coast.
Wow, great break for Florida Gulf Coast, too. Like, a 3-for-1 trade, you only lose out on 1 player, you get in, and what that allows you to do is to keep it set up for yourself now as well. And things aren't so scrappy. You don't have to worry about both teams spawning out through the middle of the map. Now you can put your full focus on holding down the remainder of this time and being able to push across. A heads-up play here from Wheels to already rotate out and start to try to open up the lanes here for the likes of FGCU as we head over towards P4.
Something now so good for the University of Central Florida, Jesse, where the break percentage on Mercado Hardpoint. Florida Gulf Coast, even how hard it is to usually break that P3, they make it look so easy. Now for the rotation over to P4. Again, LSU going to be the first ones here. Justin going to threaten from the side, and 5 in a row for Justin. The submachine gun is starting to heat up and set fire to the map for Florida Gulf Coast. You do have the flank from Beaster, so you're going to get a pinch here off of Justin. Kirch strikes first, and here comes the collapse. Justin going to get the player out of the hill. Justin now looking to clear off the remainder and look towards the respawning players for this, as Justin, 6 in a row, has that cruise missile and is still running around this map. Justin's going to get the player on the inside, looking to Pavi top rails, hunting down the player, and takes him out of the equation.
Yeah, but while doing all this, FGC really hasn't locked down a ton of time on this hill. They've really just been kind of slaying in and around the hill, but nobody really in the hill for a good chunk of time here. And every time it feels like one of these two teams does hop inside of the hill, it is just a complete bang out from the other team, a push straight through, and shuts them down almost immediately. But at the end of 4 hills, though, got around a 50-point lead here for Florida Gulf Coast University. We're going to head back over towards Blacksmith here for P5. If LSU can get a good hold, we could be at a tie game going into the second set of rotations.
Even out of all of this, a 50-point lead for FGCU, a 3 down again for rotation. They're going to take control of this Anvil Hill, Jesse, and take a look at the big 1v1 happening off screen. It's going to be Ronin to take down Beaser, so that's going to solidify spawns for LSU. Now looking into this hill, the collapse is out, and Ronin gets the break immediately back in, so denying Florida Gulf Coast of majority time here.
And FGCU also doing a good job of doing pretty much the same thing. Anytime LSU touches into this point, just immediately getting chopped down from one of the reinforcements from Florida Gulf Coast University. And yeah, with only 20 seconds left on this, you can clearly say now Florida Gulf Coast has won the first set of rotations. They did a great job of setting themselves up now here for the rest of the game, and you can already see players 5 and 6 starting to make a wrap through the top side of the map. This is almost exactly what they did off the start of the game as well, Colin, when they flipped the spawns almost immediately. Florida Gulf Coast University are looking to take almost a 100-point lead now into the second set of rotations and trying to run away with this game.
Yeah, 150 to 68. Almost a 100-point lead for Florida Gulf Coast as Justin going to be looking to see if he can find a couple players in the middle of the map. Peeks out from double window and gets the better of Petrov. The help from inside the hill is going to be flawless for FGCU, Jesse. And look how far away LSU are spawning.
Wheels and Mana Culture here, running the Cherry Blossom Camo. You absolutely love to see it. In a great position to knock down these players as they come off spawn. We'll get to, and this is very tough for LSU because you need to come off spawn. You need to start to get Florida Gulf Coast out of these powerful positions and stop them from holding on to a good chunk of time here. FGCU is going to back up. They're going to completely set up now for P2. They'll leave Kirch by themselves on the hill. Kirch, unfortunately, will fall. But, I mean, 10 seconds going the way of LSU for another opportunity to get a full setup here. The last time we came to this hill, though, we did have a full setup for FGCU. LSU put a full wrap through middle of the map. They went all the way through P1, and they were able to find a break. See if they can do it again here.
Justin looking for an opportunity to double up on their shrieks. Might want to call in the cruise missile before that happens, but number 5 there on a Petrov immediately traded from Dwarflin. They're going to be getting some ammunition control right now for LSU, but it's going to be Pavi the one to break through open. Ronin, it's the better of Kirch towards those back spawns, and again for P2, a quick break from LSU. This is where we saw majority of their time back in the first set, Jesse. It's where we can see them get a whole 40 seconds here now. But Florida Gulf Coast, they don't want to let that happen. Look at Wheels starting to work their way through P4. Already in the back line for these players. Wheels is going to get the kill into Petrov. Break that hill. Deny LSU of this time. Dwarflin needs to win these gunfights on rotation.
Yeah, he's on the hunt right now, but Beaser there for the help in the back. Wheels and Beaser will get the shots in on Dwarflin, drop that player down. And the last time through to this hill, we saw a full setup from LSU get broken from Florida Gulf Coast. This time it's going to be a 4-on-3 attack now from LSU.
Oh, it's going to be a flawless 4-down, though, for Florida Gulf Coast. So, can't really win on...
Oh, my God.
You can win on this hill, Jesse. You can exactly win on this hill, and Kirch is going to just try to solidify this for the team. Nice 3 kills through the middle of the map. You need to break into this if you're LSU. You got a couple players stacking through top maps. Wheels going to be here. First kill for Wheels. Gets both of them just in the front line. Gonna be denied. No. FGCU walking and running actually away with this map. You see LSU off spawn. They know they need to hit this one, Jesse. They cannot give
have the tick right now. So yeah, if you're LSU, you need to find a break here, but you need to just keep funneling the hill. But it's a one-man push, one after another. Pavi, the only player close. 10 seconds left. Can LSU get close?
Nobody's going to be here. Petrov trying to get shots on Beaser, but Justin just watching over his teammate. Beaser's going to get the kill on Dwarflin. Top maps. Pavi barely gets there in time. We're heading to another one, but Wheels is already on rotation, and Florida Gulf Coast, a statement map 1 from the Division 2 team.
Wow, it was very close, too. Through the first set of rotations, it felt very, very close. But you know what? They just said, hey, we are absolutely them in the second set of rotations here. We only seen 10 hills, Colin, through the whole map, and FGCU already have the game closed out 250 to 107. They're rocking green. They're looking like Optic right now on this map mode combination of almost 100 point club. They looked fantastic in that map number 1. Very impressed.
You know what? It's just the discipline for me, Jesse, through these teams in the postseason. That's going to be, I think the thing that sets apart a lot of these teams in the opening rounds. I think how stable you saw FGCU in a lot of those rotations was really the one key thing. The way that they were able to break together and lock down these hills when they were the first ones to rotate. You saw constant multi-kills from many players on this FGCU team. And LSU, they did not put themselves in positions really where they can help each other. Lots of times you saw them lining up, funneling in together. You didn't see a lot of dynamic around the map, and it was costing them in some of the rotations.
Yeah, and it felt really scrappy within the first 4 hills, but it felt like as soon as, or I didn't even say the first full set of rotations, but that whole second set just felt like it was completely dominated by Florida Gulf Coast. P1 was almost a full 60 for FGCU. Then they gave up a little bit of time on P2, but you gave up the back 15-20 seconds to get a full setup over on the final hill. And they pretty much could have won it outside of this last second hero play from Pavi, but it didn't even matter because you had Wheels coming off spawn, immediately able to hit into old or hit into new and be able to touch the point for the final second there. I mean, just through and through, just a fantastic map from Florida Gulf Coast University there to walk away with the win. We can take a look at the stats here as well. We were talking about it throughout the map. Wheels and Justin, the 2 SMG players here on Florida Gulf Coast University, 27-18, 24-9, just dominated the SMGs on the side of LSU in that map 1.
And I know the ARs, didn't have too much, I guess, statements when it came down to a lot of those transitional kills, but Kirch and Beachster, when the hills and the rotations were found by FGCU, they were collecting a lot of time and never really leaving it. You saw that they were putting up the kills inside the hill, outside of the hill. The ARs were making sure they locked down those long lanes. You saw towards that last hill, too, for Florida Gulf Coast, that Kirch, that three-piece through the middle of the map, it slows down LSU and denies them of really ever finding comfortability in a break together. So minute 33 in the hill for Kirch, minute 12 in the hill for Beaser. Very strong map 1 for Florida Gulf Coast, as we kind of expected with this team going 2-0 in Fortress through the regular season down in Div 2. We knew they were going to be a well-practiced team on this map. But that brings us now into the dangerous portion for LSU. We go into the double dose of El Asilo, and although your control for El Asilo is a strong record, your search and destroy is not.
It's not, and that's where we head to next, right? And you're going up against a Florida Gulf Coast team that is 4-0 on LSU Search and Destroy. So they've got the reps, they've got the confidence on this map. So if you're LSU, you just need to find a way to kind of pull it off here, right, Colin? You come into this one, LSU is going to be a tough matchup. It needs to be one of these next 2 maps, though. If you're LSU, you need to pull it off just to see the back half of this series, right? You want to be able to at least get to that embassy hard point, give yourself a chance to go to a hotel search and destroy at the end of the series here. But I mean, obviously, if you don't win one of these next 2 maps, you're out of the series, right? Obviously, that's how it works in a best of 5. But I know we said that map 1 was a must-win, but now absolutely, LSU, you need to find a way to win one of these 2 maps. It's going to be very, very tough, though, to walk away with a map victory here on one of these 2. Florida Gulf Coast is very, very practiced on these map mode combinations. So I think if you are LSU, you're coming out here, you're looking at this, you need to just kind of take it step by step, moment by moment, especially like a search and destroy, because maybe you can take advantage of Florida Gulf Coast getting maybe a little bit too over-aggressive inside of the middle of the map. The only thing that worries me for LSU is the way that they got dominated in that submachine gun battle on map number 1 scares me for LSU inside of the B-bomb site, inside of that little room. I think it's going to be a tough battle for them to win.
It was the same thing talked about in our match 1 of today, Jesse. The SMG battles going the way of the winning team, and not to mention that even in the AR battles, Kirch and Beaser were still positive. They were still finding those kills. And going to LSU, you know that your AR is going to play a big part, especially towards that B site. And if you have all the trust in the world to your team to lock down that A site for the SMGs, I think for FGCU, they're going to find themselves in a very comfortable spot moving over towards this LSU search and destroy. So for LSU, I think one big thing to look at is throwing some lives at these players, getting these trades early to take control of this A site. Make sure that ARs do not have any chance.
And right away, It's going to be a push over towards A, and there we go. The submachine guns. Wheels and Justin through middle of the map. Going to do their jobs. Get that initial first blood. Beaster on the outside finds the second. And Kerchi actually with a subby in hand, or sorry, with a sniper in hand as well. Must have been watching that outer area. Ronan, the last player alive, and that's just a clean round number 1 from Florida Gulf Coast University. And Colin, the exact thing we were talking about coming into this was that we were worried about the submachine gun battle. And again here, Wheels and Justin just winning out on the trades, winning out on the round number 1.
Locking down that A site, denying LSU of any coverage, and winning out in the round 1, striking first in the LSU low map. Now switch over to offense, and let's see where it takes us for these players. Because the B site, with how good that B side Kirch is, or has been so far in the AR role, the B site is definitely something that could be sought at for this round number 1. But it looks like Beaster's going to go for this antenna fight against Petrov. Couple early shots there just to warn him. Kirch has the boomstick out, and look at the overwatch just to get information and provide a safe cover to these SMGs moving towards B.
I love this play over towards B. You pop Diddy, you just sprint straight down, middle of the map, get the bomb down over at B. It's a very hard retake here for the defensive side of the map. You'll already get a break off. Ronan needs to win this one-on-one in middle, cannot win it. And now you've got a 2v3 retake with so much control for Florida Gulf Coast.
2 versus 3. Warflin gonna have to look in on this one eventually, but you have player number 5, Courage, already flanking this one out into the back line, looking for the player with the pistol all the way up top. Petrov gonna get the better of him, and a swing around 3 to 2. 2 versus 1. Wheels gonna make it a 1v1 and get out. 14 seconds left. Petrov versus Wheels for the round victory, and Petrov just doesn't have time to play for this one. 7.5 seconds. Wheels knows he just has to check, and the round win for Florida Gulf Coast.
That is so well played by Wheels in that 1v1 situation. Wheels knows there's 7.5 seconds they need to get the defuse. There was about 18 seconds left when he found himself in a 1v2. Knew there was a positioning, knew where both these players were coming from, that he had an opportunity to take a clean one-on-one out by trucks, wins the one-on-one, instantly dips away, gets inside of tools, stays alive, knows that with 10 seconds left, all he has to do is challenge on that bomb with at least 5 seconds to go. You'll automatically win the round. Perfectly played by Wheels at the end of the round there to walk away with that. And we have a 2-0 lead here for the likes of Florida Gulf Coast. And immediately going to be is going to keep LSU guessing on their toes for the rest of this game.
Pavi with the sniper looking for Beaster up top, but he's not there. Instead, Beaster has found his way all the way into your top office and breaks out the door, finds the first blood, Ronan a trade. A site not going to be open. Wheels just sitting in the corner, but instead, COD LSU, they take control of pillars, and Wheels gets over aggressive.
That's your submachine guns both down now. Sniper in hand for Pavi still as well. I'd imagine Kirch as well has the sniper in hand. So these two players with the snipers could end up being the difference makers in the round. Kirch gets the job done with his. Might be able to even wrap over there and pick up a secondary weapon as well instead of just having the pistol in hand. We'll just have to see what Kirch can do here. Pops steady, pushes up. Will get that secondary submachine gun now in hand as well. And it looks like the bomb is going to be moving their way over towards B, and Pavi misses 2 shots.
2 crucial shots, and what could have been. Goes in for 3. Kirch still alive. Kirch with a sniper of his own, and the information to Dwarflin to get that kill. 1 versus 2. Beaster going to have information on both players. Bomb gets planted at B. 44 seconds. The nade from Beaster going to hit nothing. Know that he's probably going to be coming over towards from this B zone. But Beaster with an AR going to be looking for eyes on both of these players. Pavi in the corner. Dwarflin going to get spotted out with the shoulder. Not going to get the kill just yet. Looks like Beaster's house going to have to go in on this one. Pavi in the corner is going to make sure that he can't go any farther.
It's well played by the LSU players. They just kind of sit back. They go back to back in a situation like that where both players are just kind of watching each other's backs. Pavi has the pistol out. Kind of lucky Beaster doesn't find that first kill, because if Beaster finds the shoulder of the player in the corner originally there, then Pavi with the pistol could have been in a little bit of a rough spot if there wasn't any damage done. But you know what? They get the job done. They're able to walk away with the round victory. And that's a big round, too. You got first blood, and you were able to walk away with the victory there on offense after the offensive looked so rough through that first initial map. So good stuff there out of LSU. Kind of good answer back that they needed here inside of this round. And a big defensive hold already. 2 players sitting inside of A. You got player 3. Almost the exact same setup that we had inside of round number 1 here for LSU.
Another missed shot with the sniper. You gotta talk about when Pavi puts it away. You know, when it's
That
just
one was a little
becoming more of a
tougher.
liability. Yeah, not an easy shot, but even still, you're 3 rounds, now 4 rounds into this one, and Beaster, another first blood for FGCU to take control of this map. Player number 2, Dwarflin, the only one really in a position, and Pavi's still struggling to hit that shot. Ronan, though, finds the trade onto Justin.
It's always tough, though, when you are getting hit markers like that. Unfortunately, goes down. Dwarfin, though, on the inside will find one. Going to give the man advantage now to LSU, but Wheels looks like they want to push up, get this bomb down. It's going to be Wheels and Beaser just trying to get a setup here. If Wheels can get this bomb down and get out with his life, there's definitely a chance for a 3v2 here.
Stretch plan up top. Beaser gonna be in a position for success. Ronan's gonna know that, so the hunt's on. Beaser tagged down. Ronan stays alive. The best call that you can make. Well, Pavi hops this bomb. Dwarflin playing to block it, but the defuse doesn't come through. Dwarflin moves away at the last second. Beaster for the 1v2 to go up 3-1 in the search and destroy. Ronan's gonna jump top. Dwarflin gonna be watching. There's time for the defuse, and they get the kill.
I think that was way closer than you wanted that to be there if you were Beaser. Holy, was there an opportunity there for a chance to walk away? LSU do come away with the round, but Colin, Beaser almost pulled that off. I can't believe Beaser found the first one there, let alone almost found the rest of that, just kind of playing that back desk, trying to stay alive inside of top. That was just unreal stuff from Beaser. Almost walked away with the round victory there. But instead, we get a 2-2 tie. LSU are right back inside of the search and destroy.
I mean, there was a smidgen of progression left on the defuse, Jesse. I don't know how he got that kill. 2-2 we go. LSU, they get the round win. Pavi's going to be hunting for Kirch all the way in the back. Well, Petrov's going to be first blood. By Wheels, the bomb has gotten its way into the A site, but Wheels is already looking for the sniper towards the back spawn. Pavi's got to be careful for this.
Pavi turns around. It could be a free kill for Pavi as well here. Yeah, Wheels getting very aggressive, like you said, through the defensive spawn. Bomb yet to go down here for LSU. And they're kind of just trapped at the moment. Pavi gets completely caught out by Kirch. 2v4 now. Bomb does need to go down, but they might need to just try to see if they can find a pick at the very least beforehand. Justin will find another, and now, yeah, 1 versus 2 here. Or sorry, 1 versus 4 here for Dwarflin, and yeah, you're in a rock and a hard place right now. You'll drop down, and that's Florida Gulf Coast taking control of the map.
Yeah, FGCU just completely dominating the map on behalf of Wheels, funneling LSU exactly where they wanted. So that's a big round too. And again, Jesse, I'm going to go back to the point. Pavi just hasn't found any success with this AR, and it seems like they're trying to go a little bit too far in to get these kills, whereas Kirch just waiting for that mistake and punished him there. So when does the sniper go away for LSU?
Yeah, I'm with you now. Right now is when you're getting to a tough spot here where you might need to put it away. And it actually looks like Kirch is going to be the first one of the two to put away the sniper. Going to pull out the TAC P6 here, just trying to push, and they'll find the wall bang as well. Beautiful shots there from Kirchy to find a trade immediately there, and now there's an opportunity as well for the likes of Florida Gulf Coast if they want to wrap this to be.
Kirch, like the good college student he is, just doing his homework on these spots. Shout out to Real for that one. 3 versus 2 for FGCU. Petrov. TAC 56 too, so both snipers are going to be out for both teams. There's Pavi going to be running it, so I guess we don't really know just yet, but Petrov's going to be on rotation. This is the right call. If you can get the kill into the bomb planter, then maybe you turn this around, but Petrov not going to find Wheels. Suddenly you need to stay alive. You get the better of Wheels still. 2 versus 2. Petrov needs to play their life here.
Yeah, that bomb's down in a not-so-great spot now, but what's very unfortunate for Petrov is you have really no help, so you need to win this gunfight. Unfortunately, Beaster walks away with it, and it's just Ronan now left alive. 1v2 sees Kirch, will get the wall bang through, but Beaster and Ronan, now they both have information. Ronan will throw the nade to just give themselves a little bit of time, but like you said, only 10 seconds left. Beaster needs to get this bomb down.
Beaster hunting for the kill, and that might be a little bit too late. Just in time for the plant. Ronan waiting for the plant to come down. And it will. 1 versus 1. Beaster versus Ronan with the bomb down. Ronan just on the outside of things. Beaster hiding in a corner. Is he going to check? It's the question. It doesn't seem like Ronan's going to be able to see him back here. So Ronan's struggling to get there, but no, he's going to spot the gun, the barrel through the door, and Ronan with the clutch.
That is such a cheeky spot, but Ronan 1v2 will find Kirch and finds the last player to get the final kill, get the 3-3 tie here on the board. This is a fantastic search and destroy between these two teams, and we'll see how they were able to do it. They actually don't even see it called. It was just a pure play. You check all the way around the bomb site. Eventually, at some point, you got to check this spot, the cheeky little spot in behind the door. You shoot some bullets through it. You find the wall bang. Beautiful stuff out of Ronan. Able to walk away with it. Now a 3-3 tie here. LSU on their offenses, though, has not been the greatest. This is where I think they've actually been the roughest through this map so far. So we'll need to see how they make some adjustments here as this map goes along. Their last offense, they were completely trapped, just pinned down completely. And they're going to push towards the outside here. And there's a good presence of players here from FGCU.
He's going to get information, but Ronan finds the kill. Justin's going to get the bomb down to the trade immediately. And that's going to put LSU in a very peculiar spot where they have to go recover this bomb now, Jesse.
Ronan should be able to get this one pretty easily, though, unless Justin's able to get back into a powerful position. Justin knows that bomb's down, so actually will lay down. But Justin needs to be careful here as well, though. Completely surrounded by LSU players at the moment.
I think Justin knows this. But he doesn't know Ronan's going to be that close, so a kill back for Ronan. Advantage now. Beaster's going to even it back up. 2 versus 2. The bomb in the hand of Ronan, who's 11-4. And while Ronan is still alive, so is this round.
Petrov with a massive one-on-one over the other AR in Beaster. It's going to leave Kirch all alone here. Does have his tack, though, not the sniper in hand, so possibly able to walk away with the round. Will need to see if they can find this player. Throws a nade onto the site. Won't hit anything with the nade. Will find the first, though. Has 0 information on the second player.
Big heads-up play, but the bomb is planted for Petrov. Kirch should know that with the position he was laying. Dead silence going to be popped. Petrov just waiting to excel, but I'm not sure the read's going to be there. And Kirch gets the better of him. The right read at the right time. And FGCU back into the lead.
Wow, big round there. Big 1v2 clutch. Kirch had it happen to him in the round before. Now gets a 1v2 of their own here. Like you said, we'll take another round lead here for Florida Gulf Coast. Colin, this has been a fantastic search and destroy to watch. I've enjoyed this thoroughly between both teams. Very, very well played and answering each other. It's like a chess match right now between these two teams. It's like 1 round for us, 1 round for you. We'll take a 2-round lead. You know what? We'll let you come back. You get a 2-round lead. Like, it's been so back and forth between these two teams. Kirchy deciding, hey, it's time to pull back out the boomstick. Yeah, he's had the tack out for 2 rounds in a row. Might be able to catch one of these players off guard if Petrov challenges this. Oh, I thought it was about to be curtains, but Kirchy not able to walk away with it. Petrov, you are flirting with death right now, brother.
Yeah, you saw the glint of the sniper, Petrov, so don't peek back out. Bomb taking its sweet old time over towards A. Or players surround them. Pavy's going to be top office, but look at Dwarflin on the flank. Through the staircase. You're not going to be ready for this. That's bomb down. Beasts are now trapped all the way up top. Surrounded by players from LSU. Looking to tie this game back up. And they have full control of this round now. Beaster with attack 56. Kirch with the sniper. Not much you can do in this position.
No, but if you're Beaster, at least you get out, right? So, an opportunity now to still be able to pull something off here. If Kirchy can find that player that was sitting in and around the stairs here with the sniper, it's an opportunity. Maybe might be able to pick up a gun. Hasn't been able to find one yet. Will push in. Pavy knows that bomb's down. Has played it to full effect. You're not going to get any aim assist through those rails either. And Beaster stuck in a very tough spot now. 1 versus 4. Needs to find a way to get that bomb. Will push out. And we'll find the same outcome as Kirchy there. 4-4. LSU answer right back.
That was such a good round, too, from Dwarflin to recognize that the flank was completely open. Play off of contact from your teammate. Make sure you shut the exit of the bomb carrier. And it's just a wrong call out of the side of FGCU to bring that sniper back out for Kirch. You know, I know it's definitely a change-up that the enemy team might not be expecting, but It seems like something that they did think was still on the table, and they set the pacing in that round that FGCU just couldn't meet.
Now we'll see what LSU does on offense. Their offenses have been rough. They again choose to play towards the outside of antenna and push through instead of taking the individual fights against Florida Gulf Coast in close. Ronan will find first blood with the sniper, pulls it back out, finds that first. Wheels looking for a trade immediately, has not found one yet. There's only one problem with this setup, though, from LSU, is if Florida Gulf Coast chooses to just play patient and not get over aggressive here, you have zero map control right now.
Yeah, you don't really have a way into either bomb site. Kirch is playing so passive towards B. It seems to where the bomb is going to be headed to. Kirch a chance to maybe cut off a couple of these players. Nice trigger discipline on the Petrov is going to pay off with not just one, but both kills. So a swing in the lives for FGCU. They are now in a comfortable position to find their 5th round. Kirch going to be on the hunt for a couple more. Ronan's going to be spotted into the distance. Kirch, he knows that, but as a sniper that you have to worry about. And Dwarflin all alone towards B. Kirch is going to know this. Ronan goes down. Dwarflin is surrounded by players. It's only a matter of time before Kirch jumps in and finds the kill.
Yeah, that has got to be the weirdest B hit I have ever seen on this map. And they've done it 2 rounds in a row where they've tried to do this push through outside antenna, wrap all the way through the defensive side of the map, and then get the bomb down and B. Unfortunately, this time, Kirchy completely ready for the push, finds that 2-piece, and will get the 3rd one here in the round as they find Dwarflin. And you know what? Probably could have taken some shots on that sniper as well. Chose to just give the information to his teammates, not take the over-aggressive challenge across the map with the AR against the sniper, and will find that kill there. Both teams really struggling on offense, though. If I'm Florida Gulf Coast here in this round, after how all these rounds have gone, I'm going back to that B hit that we did in round number 1 that worked so effectively here. But it looks like that's not going to be the call. Immediately, both teams are going to be putting a ton of pressure in towards the A site.
Wheels going to be the first one to fall yet again as we just go defense for defense between both of these teams. It's a quick 3 for LSU as they stack that A site, Jesse, and Kirch 1 versus 4 to win map number 2. Pavi's going to spot the information and add communication towards the rest of the team. Look at how much pressure now the subs are putting on to Kirch.
Kirch just trying to stay alive. He might need to find a few kills here, too. LSU may have more kills than this final defense now, because of a 4-0 clean sweep there in that final round. There's a very real chance that LSU just clutched up and got that final defense. And it's really on the back of Ronan with 15 and 6 right now. Almost triple positive, having a fantastic map here inside of this. And we go to a round 11. And it is that case. Florida Gulf Coast lose the offense now, or lose the defense, now need to find a way to close out an offense. And again, I say it, their B push looked fantastic in that first round, and we have not seen it again since then. Do they finally choose to pull it back out? And no, it looks like once again it is going to be a full hit from both teams going over towards A. First blood. Oh, Ronan's getting stunned and tagged. Naded like crazy, will get dropped, but Pavi finds the trade.
And Pavi's going to be there for the trade for round 11. Life advantage to FGCU. Now Pavi to go a little bit deeper for this one. Spots Wheels on the staircase. Has to be careful to not go down in this spot. Give lives even farther there, but Kirch gets him behind. Pavi, whoa, this is going to be a close one. Kirch doesn't know just yet, and that's bomb down. Pavi gets out with their life. The Wheels putting this bomb down towards A.
This feels like a bit of a panic plan. You still had a lot of time, but bomb will go down. 45 seconds left. LSU players on both sides. Florida Gulf Coast just need to lock down the room.
They do. Pinch from both angles. LSU, you find one kill, that's good, but if not, might be looking at just jumping on in together. Looks like Petrov's going to group back up with Pavi. Both players looking to hit it from the same side. Storm's not going to collect any information. Both nades going to be dropped in. The door's going to be open now. 15 seconds left where it's all down to this, and they both line up for the door. They funnel on in, Jesse, and FGCU. 2-0 lead in the series.
Wow, that might be my favorite LSU Search and Destroy I've watched of the year. Both teams played it very well. back and forth all the way through, but Justin at the very end, it's the submachine gun duo again of Justin and Wheels. They got the job done in round number 1. They got the job done in map 1, and they get the job done once again in round 11. Colin, they clutch up the round, they get the bomb down, and they hold that room to perfection there. The stuns, the nades, it does not matter. Florida Gulf Coast up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, to a lot of people, this is a big surprise. A Div 2 team looking this good against Division 1 teams. But this is Florida Gulf Coast that we're talking about. This is a team that, a lot of people should know about, who's been around the block in CCL for years in the past. And now for the postseason, it just seems like they've hit a new stride, Jesse, a new level. I mean, when you look in comparison to LSU and FGCU, FGCU are actually higher on the top 25 list. So even the community originally throughout the regular season thought that FGCU was a better team than Louisiana State University. So coming out and just showing that there's this much of a skill gap between both teams, at least in the hard point, the search and destroy was very close, is something to note, because even though that FGCU was a higher team on top 25, it wasn't by much. FGCU was ranked 17th, whereas LSU were 21st.
Yeah, I think that when we looked at it, right, me and you were both saying, hey, like, this series has the potential to go the full 5 here, right? And if that search and destroy went the LSU, the way of LSU, I'd almost be saying, hey, yeah, we're going to be seeing a full 5 games between these two teams, right? But now there's an opportunity here for Florida Gulf Coast to walk away with the 3-0 win. That was a crazy search and destroy. Honestly, on the back of Kirchi with this massive play here inside of round 9 to be able to close this round out, and then the big round 11 2v2, this game could have been very different either way. A few gunfights go LSU way in that last round, a very different map. So, I mean, I don't think this series is over by any means yet. I think that this control is going to be very crazy in terms of setting up the back half of the series.
Yeah, so there we have it. Across 2 maps, FGCU icing up in the search and destroy. And a couple things we definitely need to note. Ronan did not have 52 damage across the S&D, I promise you. 15 kills, 7 deaths.
That's a lot of one-shot players.
Yeah, it's a lot of cleaning up your teammates' mess, if it is true. But it's not. We definitely know it's not going to be true. LSU, I think one thing that definitely impressed me is that even towards the later rounds, Jesse, was something that, like, they weren't really doing the same thing over and over again. They did try some new stuff towards those later rounds. And, some worked, some didn't. I think really where LSU got caught up were in the early rounds, where FGCU were, finding rounds almost for free, I would want to say, against LSU. There wasn't really too much strategy from Louisiana State at the start of the S&D compared to the end of the S&D. So you think about preparation going into this LSELO, and it definitely seemed like FGCU have been more prepared today. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that game was close either way. I think that one could have gone, like I said, either way. If LSU wins a few gunfights out a different way, I wouldn't necessarily maybe say that they were more prepared, but I think that both teams have looked very good in that search and destroy. Now, heading into the LSELO controls, the final map, Colin, this could be very interesting, right? In terms of both these teams have played this map a lot. Both teams have looked good on it. Florida Gulf Coast still yet to lose a map on it, though. But that's the same case with every map that Florida Gulf Coast plays here today. So how much can you put into favor of that? You look at the first 2 maps, you see 2 very good maps for Florida Gulf Coast, but the respawn really did go in their favor. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this 3rd map.
It just dawned on me, Jesse. FGCU, they still have not dropped a map in CCL this season, through the regular season and the postseason. We got LSELO control coming up next. We're going to set things up, folks. We'll see you on the other side with some more of our winners round 2. Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Playoffs Winners Round 2, where Florida Gulf Coast find themselves out of T2 and up 2-0 against Louisiana State University, Jesse. Something that, a lot of people going into this, they've been like, what? What are we going into? 2-0 lead for FGCU, but overall, when you look at this FGCU team, I mean, they came into the postseason expecting to do good against these D1 teams, and right now, this is the outcome that a lot of people in the community may have been expecting.
Yeah, it might be an upset when you're looking at the overall, like number 4 LSU versus number 13 Florida Gulf Coast in the overall terms of the bracket. But when you look at these two teams, you get down to the nitty gritty and you just know how good of a team Florida Gulf Coast University was. And the fact that they should have been a Div 1 team this year, it really goes down just to show you you can't always take numbers and be able to look at them and think that they are the fullest, truest story here. Kind of got to listen to what me and you are telling them, because we kind of said this coming into this one. Florida Gulf Coast, we're going to be a tough matchup for LSU, and they've proved to be so throughout the start of this series. 250 to 107 in that map 1, a 6-5 in that map 2, and we head to LSU Control, where both teams have so many reps on. Florida Gulf Coast sitting at 4-0, LSU 3-2 on LSU Control. I think we're going to be in for another classic here, Colin.
Look, I expected, this match to be where LSU should start seeing a fight back, but I didn't expect this much of a fight back. 250 to 107 in the hard point was crazy from Florida Gulf Coast, Jesse. And going into this LSU where both teams are comfortable, you have to be thinking again back at the submachine gun duo. Wheels and Justin were having a fantastic map 1 back on Fortress Hardpoint, and if you allow those subs to get hot again now into the LSU, you might be looking at a dangerous map 3. This is a must-win for Louisiana State if they want to stay inside of the winner's bracket and start a reverse sweep. So you have to be looking at some players to shut that down. I think player number 1 to look at for LSU is going to be Ronan. Lights out in map number 2, 15-7. Ronan was really doing as much as he could to keep that team in map 2.
Yeah, very clearly comfortable, right, on LSU as well. So that's a good point. Got to keep our eyes on Ronan here. Probably will end up being the X factor for Louisiana State University. But when you look at Florida Gulf Coast, you look at that map number 1, when it was the fast-paced, high-octane gameplay, they really dominated map 1. When it slowed down and it got more down to the nitty-gritty, they had to clutch up. LSU would almost close that game out, right? It was very, very close. Came down to a 2v2 situation that could have really gone either way inside of that, though. So we'll just have to see now that we're kind of in the perfect mix of high octane and needing to slow things down at times when we head here into control on what the outcome will be. But so far off the rip of this game, both teams have gotten aggressive over towards A, but it will continue to be ticks of progression heading down, and that's 2 ticks all the way through now for Florida Gulf Coast, and this should be the 3rd tick for sure. LSU just needs to try to get set up here to stop them from being able to get this over to B immediately.
Yeah, I like the response from LSU just to kind of hit the brakes and give up that A zone. It was gone. You didn't want to throw any more lives at it. Now it's trying to see if you can funnel these players into some key gunfights to start skewing these lives back in your favor. They tie us up 24 apiece, but gotta be looking at player number 4 for Justin to see if you can find an opening for your respawning players, while Dwarflin is doing the quite opposite.
Yeah, Dwarflin is getting into this annoying position we see so many submachine gun players get into on this map, where they push into green and they just try to be really, really annoying in this building. As soon as they see a player, just, give out the information, call it out, just try to shut these players down. And they have no idea that Dwarflane is in their spawn right now, because Dwarflane has had so much trigger discipline here. We'll take some shots now down on a Kerchie, but too much trigger discipline possibly. They lose out on the gunfight. Now you've got Florida Gulf Coast on the point, and they're looking to put it away. 2 ticks already complete.
Yeah, the stacks here. Pavi, only one that could maybe touch this, but Beaster's going to say no. And Florida Gulf Coast, they start strong in the control after a hot, clutch round 11 win in the Search and Destroy. Get a little bit of a break between these maps for your both teams, Jesse, but I'm sure Florida Gulf Coast, they walked away from that map number 2 and they started talking about this control, saying, hey, we're up 2-0. We're the Div 2 team. Technically, we got nothing to lose at this point. We want to not get outplayed by our academy team. That's what FGCO are talking to each other about.
I think at the end of that first round there, Dwarflin has the right idea, to give those callouts. Unfortunately, you lose out on your teammates there, but also at the same time, I feel like you also need to just try to be dropping those players and getting those numbers away from FGCU as much as possible there, because FGCU through that whole first round only lose out on 10 lives in that round number 1. So definitely looking to maybe pick it up a little bit here in round number 2. Ronan getting hot as well. Starts with a 2-piece. All the progression now heading over towards A.
Something you want to see if you're LSU fans. Even there, Pavi's going to take down Beasters. That's just going to push lives even farther for LSU for this point. Ronan, some nice defense there onto the zone. Denies Wheels of getting in. Second tick going to be locked down in Kirch. I don't even know if you want to look at this one if you're going to be Kirch, but you will. And he actually stops Ronan from stacking that. Takes a little bit longer for this A zone to get captured, but ultimately it will go down.
Try to trap these players in here, though. It's not as easy of a point A to point B setup that we saw from the likes of Florida Gulf Coast on their push around, but now you see Pavi and Petrov. They're going to make the push through the backside. This is very similar to what we saw from their offensive pushes on the search and destroy here. Pavi just trying to be annoying, trying to be in the back line here. He's going to sit up on top patio, just trying to shut these players down. But the problem right now is that you don't have any map control at the moment outside of Pavi being pushed forward, and you've got Wheels and Beaster both in your spawn starting to shut things down.
Yeah, and there's no attention that's going to be diverted by Pavi until he really threatens that zone. So Wheels is going to be free to do whatever, still finding kills into the spawn of LSU. Ronan, the one to drop top green, and now Justin hearing a lot of footsteps over towards this B zone. Pavi's going to get the better of Justin. Petrov, top AC, takes down Kirch, and out Wheels, who was in a great spot at first. Now things a little bit flipped out for the map, as he has to find a way back into this with the spawns close from FGCU. They still have a chance to fight back. Beaster's going to get some eyes onto the first one. Now it's all up to Beaster and Kirsch to break back into this one. Dwarflin won't be able to get any shots on in the break back in for FGCU.
Those are big kills from FGCU. You don't find those kills. You're all spawning out towards the far left-hand side in that deep, deep spawn. But instead, you get the close spawns. There's an opportunity now to start to pinch these players and push them into the back of their spawn. And that's exactly what Florida Gulf Coast are doing. They're taking full advantage. Ronan, though, with a massive two-piece to open things up. Petrov will find the third, and now you can move your way back over towards B. You need to be wary of Justin on the flank, though.
You can stack this one quickly if you're at LSU. You have two players here. The nade's going to take down Dwarflin, but Petrov, find this kill to Justin. You really solidify it, and instead, though, Justin takes down Petrov, looks towards the zone, and removes these LSU players. 34 seconds left, Jesse, in a 4-life lead.
Can't afford to do that again, though, if you're FGCU. That's twice now you've given up a tick of progression to play for a retake of the zone. You can't keep losing all your lives through middle of the map, because if LSU gets one more wipe, it should be a very easy final tick of progression.
Here's Wheels to at least slow the roll. Onto the zone is Ronan, 17.9 seconds. Dwarflin going to be watching the back alley. The stack onto the B zone. And LSU looking to even up this control, and Florida Gulf Coast, they can't get there in time.
Yeah, that's exactly why. That's exactly why you can't lose all those gunfights through middle of the map. That's so many times throughout that round where it felt like FGC was getting the setup that they wanted, and it was just broken so easily by Louisiana State University. They were able to just push in, able to find the gunfights, and as soon as you find those gunfights, you start to spawn them out deep left. A few times Florida Gulf Coast get the close right spawn, and they were able to break back into the point. That along with having a player on the flank. This time through, though, I mean, as soon as that player on the flank goes down, you were pretty much just completely outnumbered there. So both teams looking good on offense. Maybe FGCU's a little bit cleaner off the rip there, but LSU still gets the job done.
Kill there for Wheels. It's up the middle of the map. Find two. Yes, you can. Open 8 for Wheels. Looking for Pavi up top. There's just a little bit of shots on, but nothing too threatening just yet, as, kills back and forth. Wheels really the only one here. We make a play for some kills, but Ronan's going to get the better of that. Now top window control. Ronan through the middle of the map, traded out again. Dwarflin, back and forth we go. Nobody able to hop onto the zone safely. It's backed into Justin doing what Pavi did last time. See if you can just be annoying back here.
Yeah, trying to just stay alive, dodge these nades at the moment. Wheels will come off spawn as well, so going to go try to help his submachine gun duo and Justin. But now, heading over towards B, Wheels will find one. We'll start to get some progression on the zone. And you can see there's actually a lot of players from Florida Gulf Coast in and around the point right now. That's a tick of progression already done. Everybody on LSU spawning deep out towards A as well. And they might just have to give this up, Colin.
Team nade onto Petrov, you gotta think.
How does that even happen?
I'm just gonna be looking for a little bit of exits, but instead, could it be up to Pavi to really do the most damage here? Still quite scrappy for LSU. Nothing too convincing for them to really lock down this rotation. And with that kill into Dwarflin, Wheels gonna hop into the A zone. This is where you have to be really careful if you're Ronan not to go down. And yeah, it's a huge kill into Wheels.
A big two down. Well, at least slow this initial push here from Florida Gulf Coast as they look to head over towards A. Now, let's not forget A, once you finish off the B zone, not the easiest to go for, because you can get a player set up in top of antenna. You can see that's exactly where Petrov has set up the main AR here for LSU. And the rest of the players now from LSU, if they find wipes, everybody on Florida Gulf Coast in this position will start to spawn out towards green. You need to be careful of this.
Warning shots there from Petrov. LSU with a lot of pressure towards FGCU's spawn. Petrov doing some nice damage there on the Courage. The cleanup crew going to make sure that no progression towards A is found. Notice Wheels turns to just be a little bit careful. Wheels gonna get the better of Pavi. This is the opening that you want if you're FGCU.
The big thing, though, for LSU, though, is that everybody that comes off spawn right now is still spawning up close, so they can get back into the action very quickly here. Wheels the only player on the point at the moment, so one tick of progression will come through, but now the collapse comes through from LSU. They're able to find two, and Kirch will go down as well, so the full wipe here for LSU, 11-11 in lives, and now you need to start thinking about time. 24 seconds left on the clock.
Both teams just sizing up to each other on LSC low. Nobody getting control, nobody feeling safe and secure. Justin looking to work this flank. If you play your cards right, the timing could be impeccable. Petrov, don't think you spotted this one just yet. So yeah, Justin's going to be able to hop this. Oh no, Justin's going for a little bit more. Ronan's going to spot it. Justin taking out the player on the top antenna. Ronan's going to fall as well. Here's the opening for the collapse. The second tick getting worked on. Trophy in the sight. Kirchy finds Pavi. Dwarflin now the only one to do some damage. Third tick getting worked on. Is he going to touch? No, Dwarflin can't get in. And Florida Gulf Coast take a second round.
That play from Justin to be able to push towards top antenna to shut that player down, what that does is it forces the spawn out after to go out towards B. It makes that spawn so much harder to be able to react to, because you've got so much more of the map to traverse to get back in. Having that player alive top antenna is pivotal to being able to spawn up towards A. They end up falling. Everybody spawns out. That is a great last second clutch and a heads up play by Justin to find that final kill there for Florida Gulf Coast to really secure the round for themselves.
Well, LSU, this is your last chance now for your winner's bracket. Justin's going to be top office. 3 kills for Florida Gulf Coast to start putting some pressure down. Looking off the spawn here, Justin is exactly where he wants to be. In and around the back, finds 2. Kirch a third 1-2 to get rid of Dwarflin, and that's a full, clear, flawless wipe.
Oh no, this can get really, really bad for LSU very quickly here. These gunfights, pivotal. You need to walk away with these victories. If you don't walk away with these gunfight wins, these are the spawn trap moments that you can definitely get trapped in. Beaster will be alone up top A here. Them finding those few kills through middle of the map will at least open up some room for LSU to make the wrap out, but right now it does not matter. Beaster finds another one. Player still on the point. It's the last player. It's Ronan, and Ronan just needs to try to play their life right now.
Ronan's going to tip into Jim. Even finds a kill onto Justin. Gets away. Over to B we go. Wheels out in the open. Pavi gets the better of that kill. And Ronan looks like you want to divert some attention back over towards A. Unfortunately, though, you'll lose all pressure to B, and now Ronan's going to have the full focus on him. Can you get this first tick secured? Hopefully for the rest of your team. I don't even think that first tick was locked in, so no.
Kirch on 5 in a row. Already has a streak. Was looking to double it up. Could not find that there. But you've got so much map control right now if you're Florida Gulf Coast. You keep hitting these players back in their spawn. Beaster's going to be able to pick these players off. Beaster finds a streak now as well. 10 life lead here. LSU down to their final 12 lives.
Yep, 11 life lead for Florida Gulf Coast. 21 seconds left. Beaster looking for the players through the soccer field, and Ronan gonna get called out. Nice shots there. Ronan, the only one towards B, gets cleaned up by Justin. 19 seconds, Jesse. Florida Gulf Coast, they can feel it. They can feel their winners bracket run continuing to winners round 3. Just a few more seconds. Kirch, the cruise missile going to be invested. Dropping the hammer towards A, gets both Pavi and Dwarflin. And there's no time left for the remainder players. No more respawns. Florida Gulf Coast, they're going to be moving to winners round 3.
Wow, a swift 3-0 from Florida Gulf Coast University. It wasn't the cleanest. You know, inside of these last 2 maps, you get a 6-5 win and a 3-1 win. But man, oh man, did Florida Gulf Coast look good here in this first series? Their first real test against Div 1 talent,
Oh, yeah.
too, since the Div 1 qualifiers earlier in the year, and they absolutely show up a 3-0 victory over another top 25 ranked team in LSU, and I mean, they've looked very, very good. I will say, Colin, though, that last map, if LSU doesn't choke that last hold on that control, could have been a very different map. We could have seen a whole back half of this series. But that massive kill from Justin just won Florida Gulf Coast this series.
Even if you move through the series, Jesse, it did not get any easier for COD LSU. I think that Louisiana State definitely lost in the vetoes for this series. They definitely had an idea on how they wanted to play it, but FGCU did their homework, and I think that's one thing that kind of stands out about this team to other teams throughout this bracket is that FGCU, they will be ready for these matches, and they've been grinding. They've been practicing. Even though they lost to Newberry and they didn't get into Div 1, it didn't stop them from improving. I can only imagine what this team would be if they played through Div 1 throughout the season.
Colin, you know what's really exciting, too? I'm just looking at the bracket right now and just kind of trying to update myself a little bit with things. The storylines that we get in college COD, man, they just always seem to come full circle, right? Like, every year, they always seem to come full circle. Last year, Davenport was the team that eliminated St. Clair from being able to make top 20, or from being able to make Div 1. And they ended up going up against each other. St. Clair beat them in playoffs. Both teams ended up qualifying for LAN, whatever, yada, 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 right?
Don't tell me.
Florida Gulf Coast just 3-0'd LSU. On the other side of the bracket, Newberry just 3-0'd ODU to set up Newberry versus Florida Gulf Coast University in a winners round 3 matchup. That is going to be so exciting. The storylines, they never end here in College COD.
I mean, the admins, the script writers, they are doing their job right now to give us the best entertainment we could ask for in the postseason of CCL. And for Florida Gulf Coast, I mean, just like LSU, it only gets harder from here. LSU, they're going to be dropping to the lower bracket. FGCU, they got a date with Newberry. You look back at that LSU control, and just, you're right, you know, this LSU maps, they weren't the most comfortable for Florida Gulf Coast, but at the end of it, a 3-0 is a 3-0, and the confidence for FGCU is only going to keep growing. We look at this map, too. It wasn't so much the SMG show like we saw back in Fortress Hardpoint. You know, LSU allowed for Kirch and Beeser to have a lot more of an impact in this game. And Beeser in particular, off of a lot of those rebreaks and a lot of the denial to the B zone for COD LSU, Beeser was such a key player.
Yeah, the ARs really showed up right on LSU. I mean, even when you look back at map number 2, the Kirch needed that massive 1v2 in the back of the map inside of the search and destroy in round number 9. If Kirch doesn't win that 1v2 and kill both those players, that could have been a very different round. And round 10 goes the way of LSU. Guess what? LSU are up 2-1 in the series, very possibly, right? So the ARs definitely showed up here for the side of Florida Gulf Coast. And I think the big thing for FGCU coming out of this series as well is not only the fact that Florida Gulf Coast come in, they're looking good, everybody's feeling good about Florida Gulf Coast, but when you look at the overall series and the fact that they were very tested in this series, that game 4, or that game 2 and that game 3 were no walk in the park for this team, and they iced up, they clutched up, they got out of it. I think that shows a lot of resilience for this team and gives a lot of people some hope going in towards the later half of this play-in right now.
And Jesse, FGCU still haven't dropped a map.
They have not, you're right.
Throughout the regular season, throughout the postseason, FGCU still have not dropped a map. Who is going to be the first team to do that? Well, in winners round 3, I can only imagine that it might be where we see the end to the flawless for FGCU, but they still have a chance to, you know, get revenge on that one and continue to push forward. This is an exciting series. This is for FGCU. I mean, this storylines only get better and better for them coming out of Div 2, Jesse, but that's going to push us forward in today. We got winners round 3 coming up next. It does seem like we have our eyes, or the admins have their eyes on a couple matches. Illini versus Davenport possibly. SIUE versus Michigan. There's a lot to be looking at. But folks, we're going to head to a break, get things set up, and we'll be right back with some more CCL postseason. See you soon.